Bill Holman, the race is on to find at least one of the missing ancient crystal skulls. A race to prevent a possible Armageddon. The quest is deeply personal. He's determined to fulfill the dying wishes of Anna Mitchell Hedges, who is said to have found the skull here in southern Belize in 1924. She always believed there were other skulls here.
Good morning. Welcome to Punta Gorda.
Belize is a tiny country located between Mexico and Honduras, with a population of just 300,000 people. But at the height of the Maya Empire, millions of people lived and worshipped here.
The Maya were, without any doubt, one of the preeminent civilizations of the New World. And I say this because the Maya were the most literate society in the New World. They recorded information, they wrote, they had books.
And they built spectacular sites like this ceremonial pyramid at Altun Ha. It's beautifully restored, and you can see the skull images carved into the ancient rock. But most of the country is dense, tropical forests, an archaeological mystery waiting to be solved. Day 1. Bill's first mission is to explore the Maya legend that the Mitchell Hedges skull was made here in southern Belize. He's determined to find a local source of quartz crystal. He heads to the tiny town of San Pedro, Colombia, just down the road from the Maya ruin Lubantun, where the Mitchell Hedges crystal skull was found.
Hello? Hey, I'm looking for Leonardo Acal. Have you seen him? You know where he
Anna
lives?
Mitchell Hedges says she worked with her father in this village. She told Bill that San Pedro should be his first stop if he ever decided to search for a crystal skull. And there was an old friend of hers that Bill should track down. His name is Leonardo Acul, and he's a key figure in the crystal skull legend.
He's one of the spiritual leaders of the Mayan people, and he's been studying with all the old masters all his life. And also, his grandfather was on the expedition with Mitchell Hedges.
Anybody home? Is Leonardo here? Leonardo, how are we doing? How you doing? Good to see you.
Leonardo is a direct descendant of the Maya. He appears to live a simple life. His wife cooks over an open fire pit, and animals roam freely in the yard. But this quiet, unassuming man reveals to Bill how the Maya came to possess the crystal skull.
We call it Sakitok. That's the original name in Kekchi Maya language, Sakitok. Sakitok means crystal.
As with all legends, there are differences. The Maya version, according to Leonardo, says the gods descended from the sky and handed a crystal skull to a mere mortal. This skull contained the secrets of the gods. Through prayer and ritual, the Maya were able to extract knowledge from the skull, and this is how they learned to craft the other 12 crystal skulls.
The Mayas are just like us today, but they are more knowledgeable, they're wise, they're very intelligent.
Since that time, the crystal skulls have been linked to Maya ritual.
So here is the scenario that people might have seen. You're now walking into a Mayan temple, and the priests then guide you to the inner sanctum, and sitting on an altar, glowing among firelight and torches, is the famous crystal skull. And you look at it, and it's glowing.
The so-called paranormal properties of the Mitchell Hedges skull have intrigued researchers for decades. But until Anna Mitchell Hedges died in 2007, the skull was strictly off limits.
Bill.
Hi.
Glad to see you, Dale Walker.
Oh, glad to meet you. It's really
Bill Holman is trying to change all that. Weeks before he left for Belize, Bill arranged for some tests to be conducted with Dale Walker, one of the leading figures in the international crystal skull movement.
First skull I worked with was the Mitchell Hedges skull. We were able to take this really clear quartz skull and bring images up which could be photographed. For the first time, we were able to photograph images, true images, like graphics coming out of a computer.
For Walker, the pictures were shocking. He believes he has captured fragments of ancient civilizations trapped in the crystal. He's even caught glimpses of what appear to be extraterrestrials. Walker has photographed hundreds of skulls since, but his life changed forever in 1987 when he came into possession of his first ancient crystal skull.
I felt an energy that I had only felt before with the Mitchell Hedges skull. It was an unusual feeling, sensation, led me to immediately think that this was a real skull.
He's here today to test a hypothesis. What would happen if he placed his ancient skull next to the Mitchell Hedges skull? Walker thinks when put in proximity, the skulls may actually create and transmit energy. He's brought along two contemporary skulls for control purposes.
So that the three skulls surrounding it are in triangulation. This is called a tetrahedron energy grid.
In order to test the level of energy released by the skulls, Walker positioned Bill Holman in front of each one.
Okay.
He recorded the scene with a thermal imaging camera, which measures ambient temperature.
We know that quartz crystals are able to generate a bioenergy field within individuals. We think it occurs because they grow just like other biological objects do, like plants, animals, and people.
To his amazement, Walker discovered that when touched by human hands, the skulls produce a form of energy which registers on the thermal imaging camera. When Bill places his hand on the table, the temperature registers a cool 62.4 degrees. But when Bill touches the Mitchell Hedges skull, the temperature spikes to 82 degrees. For Walker, this is clear evidence that crystal skulls possess an otherworldly energy.
The conclusion is simple. It's not heat that's transferring. It's transferring a type of energy that generates heat in the body.
We keep coming back to the question, where did these skulls come from? Could Maya artisans have crafted these life-size replicas of human skulls? And if they did, where would they have gotten the large pieces of crystal? Well, some believe the answers lie right along these riverbanks.
Early the next morning, the local Maya spiritual leader, Leonardo Acul, leads Bill Holman to the banks of the Columbia River.
Let's go, buddy.
Leonardo knows of a spot 5 miles upstream where large chunks of quartz crystal are rumored to have been found. The only way to get there is in one of these dugout canoes.
There's alligators in here from what I understand, so we have to watch out for the alligators.
When Mitchell Hedges went upriver back in the 1920s, it was a far more menacing journey. There were swarms of mosquitoes, rough waters, and pounding rain. Things got so tough, in fact, the hardened explorer was forced to turn back.
By the time we reached safe ground, it was almost dark. We were covered in thick clay. Mosquitoes droned around us in millions, with that most hateful of all tropical sounds. So began a dreadful night. Sleep was impossible.
As Bill and Leonardo battled their way upriver, they faced the same thick swarm of mosquitoes. And several times, Bill gets out of the boat and drags it over the rocky bottom. After many hours, they finally arrive.
Chris? Hi, I'm Christopher. You must be Bill.
I'm Bill. Glad to meet you. I've heard a lot about you.
They're met by an American couple, Christopher Nesbitt and his wife, Dawn Dean. They run an agricultural research farm here. Leonardo brought Bill to this site because many people, including Dawn, say chunks of crystal can be found right here in the riverbed just below the farm.
I found this crystal in the river, right over here. I found a lot of them about the size of a grapefruit, but then some of them even as large as, say, a cantaloupe.
So you mean about the size of a crystal skull?
It's hot and humid, and the bright sun makes it difficult to find the right type of rocks.
All right, mostly right ahead in here is where I have found crystals before.
The Maya were very secretive about the source of their crystals. Could it be hiding here in plain sight?
Like this rock here, that could have it.
Like it is. Wow, that's a nice shape, isn't it? Yeah. Oh, look at that.
The only way to find out if crystal is inside is to break open the rocks. They pound rock after rock, splitting them open, only to be disappointed. And just when they're ready to give up...
Wow, look right there. Look at that one, right down in there. Look at that, wow.
Has lots of little round ones.
Yeah, but see
different
how,
shapes
look
and
at how,
different colors. It's beautiful.
I think that crystals were seen by the Maya and many Native American groups as a special kind of substance. In some traditions, it's thought of as solidified light.
That's good.
The crystal Bill found in the river isn't quite big enough to carve out a life-size skull. But to him, it's clear evidence that the Mitchell Hedges skull could have been made nearby.
We're 1 mile from Lubantun with crystal. You know, if there was crystal here, I'm sure that the ancient Mayans would have been able to find it.
Oh, yeah.
And would have been able to use it.
Coming up, cracking the secrets of the skulls. Will it explain a host of other ancient mysteries?
The crystal skulls appear to be produced by a technology that we can't reproduce.
Perhaps the answer is located far, far away on Mars.
What we saw was a mesa that looked kind of like a quirky face.
Back on Earth, finding an ancient Maya city. Or is it evidence of Atlantis?
There's something underneath the ground here.
When Mystery of the Crystal Skulls continues.